All right, we're finally on part three here, and the way that I had said this earlier, this is going to be a new specialty post, the belt or bury. And this is the first one that we're doing for this. It's not really that complicated. It's kind of like wrestling with the past, which was the last one that he did, where we don't necessarily have the structure of the superstar score or the top rope list or anything like that. This is kind of just us shooting the shit. The question in mind is whether or not the particular superstar that we're talking that week should get a push higher up on the WWE hierarchy ladder, or they should be pushed down it, and that could lead to either a championship or a release. So, inspired by an exchange of comments on the chat, where the question was brought up whether or not Cody Rhodes would be a good contender for Money in the Bank, I figured we'd go with him first. So I'll explain my position on this first, just to kind of get us rolling. I Last year when Money in the Bank happened, I thought Cody Rhodes was pretty much a shoe-in to win this next one. Now that we've had the past few months where Cody Rhodes has done virtually nothing, I don't think that's necessarily the case. However, I do think he's not on a downward spiral or anything. I think they just have nothing for him to do, and they were kind of falling into the same rut that they do a lot, where they were focused too much on The Rock and Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania. And now that everybody's taking time off, we're going to start seeing more Cody Rhodes. And my suggestion is full on belt, but not the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship. I think Cody, what he needs right now is a face turn where he goes up against Damian Sandow, and the two of them elevate each other back into the proper mid card scene. And then afterward, Cody can win the Intercontinental title from Wade Barrett and have kind of similar to what he had before with the Intercontinental title, where he had a long reign that really kind of solidified the purpose of him being on the card. Maybe he drops it along the way. Maybe he picks it back up again. Maybe he even holds the Money in the Bank with it. And a possible good storyline I think that could come out of this would be somebody holding both the Money in the Bank and the Intercontinental title. We have seen it, I think, before with RVD, right?
Ye-
Well, Miz was
No.
United States champion when he won the Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
going
that
on 3 years ago.
that basically counts the same. But a storyline that I think would work really well is when you have a babyface champion with the Money in the Bank, you either tend to turn him heel, have him cash in on a heel in an opportunistic way, or he kind of just does that bullshit with John Cena where he announces ahead of time what
Or
he's going
Van
to do.
Dam.
Yeah, Van Dam did it too. Um, I would like to see something more along the lines of Cody being the Intercontinental Champion and the Money in the Bank holder, and the reason he's not cashing in is because he's too focused defending the Intercontinental title, and eventually he drops it to somebody, maybe maybe Damian Sandow, maybe Kofi Kingston, something along those lines. And then he can move on when the time has come where he's built himself back up with the Intercontinental title that you can viably consider him a Money in the Bank contender for the World Championship or the WWE title. And that, of course, means at the end of the time limit because he needs that whole year. Um, I don't think that his age is a factor in a negative for him to be a champion or anything like that. He's not ready right now for a world title, but he will be eventually. And I think a face turn and another Intercontinental title reign is what pushes him towards it. And that being said, I got to go full on belt, no bury. He's too talented. He's too young. He has too much of a bright future for them to just let him go the way that they did with Ted DiBiase. So I'm going to go based on the Skype list here. Braden, what do you think? Belt or bury Cody Rhodes?
I would say belt. He's most certainly not ready to be a world champion. I don't think he's going to win Money in the Bank this year at all. He does not deserve to be buried. I don't think he's necessarily completely 100% main event material, but at some point he's at least good enough to warrant like a world heavyweight championship reign, but not this year, maybe not next, but definitely in the future. But the only problem I have with him winning the Intercontinental title or the United States title, whether he turns face or not, to me seems like more of a natural heel, as generic as he seems sometimes, is that he's done everything you possibly can in the mid-card with that first Intercontinental title reign. It was like that year they either had the chance to elevate him or not. They decided not to, and it's worked against his favor. So I'm kind of in the gray area on how he's going to succeed in the future. Like what I would do with him is just, maybe push him a little bit more as like a main mid-card fixture, but at the same time you've done all this with him already that it might feel a little stale. So with Cody, it's a really, really weird case because he's certainly not fit to be in a top title picture for like the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE title. But at the same time, he's done everything in the spot he's in. So I think that's why they're keeping him in the tag team with Sandow. Is that, well, now Cody's in the tag team division. He's not, and just being a mid-carder. So yeah, it's hard to say really. But I would definitely say belt rather than Barry because he deserves a spot on the roster, but he's not, at least not now. He's not top tier talent.
All right, Burham, what do you think?
Well, for me, I believe I'd be doing it, elevate him sort of the same way as you would, Tony, and give him a belt. But I wouldn't go for the Intercontinental Championship. I would go in a different direction and give him the United States Championship. Sort of follow his dad, Dusty Rhodes, onto that championship. Start him off with a feud with Sandow, split the team up of Rhodes Scholars. Bring him over to the United States, give him a good run with that, and maybe get him over with the Money in the Bank. But I don't think this year he may get the Money in the Bank, but there's sort of a mixed bag of who I believe should get it between him and someone like Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett, I definitely expect to win Money in the Bank.
So, either way,
we can only
talent.
wish.
Yeah, because he's English, right?
Yes, exactly.
There's talent there that can easily do it, but with someone like Cody, I believe the sky's the limit. The only reason he's been pushed aside because he hasn't really been jobbed out or treated mistreated by the company in any certain way. He's just been placed in a position where
he's just sort of there.
He's in limbo. I would say that's sort of the limbo part of the card. It's happened to everybody. It happened to Kofi Kingston at one point. God knows it's happening to Zack Ryder at the moment. Actually, no, he's jobbing.
Ziggler was there for a while.
Ziggler was there for a while with the Money in the Bank briefcase as well. He was there. So it does happen. But the fact is, he still has remained relevant. The Cody's mustache chants, his T-shirts, the fact that he still can get a huge reaction from the crowd shows that the kid has all the tools to make it. It's just the fact that the matter that he was being overlooked by guys like The Rock or for guys like Lesnar or John Cena. For those types of guys, he wasn't being looked in as anything credible. But now, hopefully with this whole issue having with the WWE in Hollywood and sort of wrestlers, pseudo actors who work in Hollywood and want to gain a paycheck from WWE as well at the same time, it's not going to happen with those. So they'll start focusing on the mid-card talent and bringing people up and elevating them. But I think the Intercontinental title's in safe hands at the moment. So for me, the United States Championship would be the best possible solution. There needs someone to gain a championship, and hopefully it will be Cody. If he gets it, then he can feud with Sandow over the title. Have those two go back and forth, maybe even trade title wins.
Jester?
Sorry, yeah. I think it's belt. I can't see Cody being someone that they eventually release, and I feel like anyone that you're gonna say Barry is someone that they're eventually gonna release. He's got the lineage with his family being there, and I think an Intercontinental title reign is more likely. Like you guys said, I don't see him winning a world title, period, let alone anytime soon. But put a mid-card belt back on him. You don't really have to do anything nowadays to get a mid-card belt thrown on you. Like, Kofi wasn't even a part of WrestleMania, and he just got the U.S. Championship handed to him last week. So
I think that was sort of a pity reign. Sort of like, sorry, I know we put you on commentary.
I haven't quite figured out if it was kind of like a pity reign for Kofi, or if it was just a punishment for Antonio Cesaro.
Both.
Maybe
they
Cool Two
seem
Burns
to
for
not
one
be
soon.
high on
Although I
Cesaro.
don't know what he's being punished for. Is it because his yodeling is too ridiculous to even comprehend on television?
Vince isn't high on
What's
him.
he getting punished for? For
No
being
one knows.
bland? I mean, that's half the roster.
I think this is just the downswing. I mean, like you said, everybody goes through it. You get built up, then they forget about you, and then you start losing steam, and then somehow you get their attention again, and then you get built up. It's
Unless
a wheel,
you're the
basically.
Shield.
Yes.
Oh yeah, unless you're a pet project like the Shield or Fandango, then you'll get pushed. But if you're just a regular guy, even Jericho has said this. It's the
Fandango will
standard.
get there at some point. It'll happen to him too.
Fandango's gonna get the IC belt. Mark my words. He's gonna get the IC or the US title. He's gonna get gold around his waist soon enough.
As far as the Cody thing, they like him enough to have him on TV every week. I just don't see it being a problem for him to win a belt, a mid-card belt. It won't. He's not a person where if he won the Intercontinental or the U.S. Championship, the fans would scratch their head. So I
He's
don't.
no Yoshitatsu.
Yeah, exactly. It's not completely out of the realm for him to have a belt, but like if he got released tomorrow, we'd all be shocked. So I'm gonna say belt for sure. He's definitely not a Barry.
All right, Brandon, what do you think? Belt or Barry?
Yeah, baby. You can't be burying my kids now. Can't be doing that. Yeah, I'm not. They
Unless
don't.
it's Dustin, and then I could care less. You can bury
Well,
him all
unless
you
there's some
want.
sort of falling out between him and his pappy, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
We're gonna
You know
go
what
with
I'm
belt
saying?
or Barry or bicycle.
I don't think he's quite ready yet for a world heavyweight title push, but definitely maybe put the U.S. title on him, or something that I've always kind of wished that they've done but they haven't done. Bring the television title back. More belts. Create a belt. Fucking put it on him. People will cheer regardless.
Hell, let's bring the trios title and then the women's title back. And
exactly. Just
European and the
more
hardcore.
belts.
Give
More
Cody the
belts.
women's tag team championship.
I want
With
more
Sandow.
belts. I want all of the belts. Because again, you could
Or
sell
you can
more
give him the porn
merchandise.
stash title, whatever he can wear around his waist.
Yeah, don't knock the mustache, man. The mustache is awesome.
They just announced they're coming out with a Cody mustache action figure.
That
Yeah,
great.
they did. T-shirt, now action figures. Apparently the mustache draws.
The mustache sells, kids.
Yes, it sells.
But they're not going to let him go because he is a very good talent when he's on there. I mean, then just, you can't release this kid. He's far too young. I don't see him falling as far as DiBiase has fallen. I don't think.
So wow. That's
Possible.
really comparing apples and oranges now, isn't it?
I've
Yeah,
got
that's
no
like-
money. I've got no cash.
Speaking of which, I remember back when I didn't even have Smark Out Moment, and there was a huge debate on the legacy stuff. Everybody was like, Ted DiBiase should beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania and all this other kind of stuff. And I remember being one of the only people that was like, I think Cody Rhodes is the more talented one. And they're like, fuck Cody Rhodes. He's fucking not Ted DiBiase and all this other kind of shit. Who's laughing now? Not Ted DiBiase.
Ted
Well,
DiBiase
his
did
father is.
not have. He was a victim in the over 200-day title reign of Cody Rhodes.
The way I see it is, in terms of talent, the whole reason that Cody got over is because of the fact he took the ball and ran with it, and DiBiase couldn't do that. He was begging them to give him his sort of gimmick similar to his father. They did that. They gave him freaking Maurice for heat, and the guy couldn't draw any heat from the crowd because he didn't know what he was
when he was
doing.
playing Psycho. That's what really kind of propelled him until he became dashing, but not so dashing, like hybrid that he is now.
Yeah.
With the mustache. But it was the initial disfigurement angle that really got him to shine.
What were you saying, Brandon? Before I interrupted you.
Yeah, I actually don't remember what I was saying before then. That's how
That he
bad
wa-
my memory is.
That things weren't as far down as Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
He's not going to plummet as far as DiBiase is concerned.
DiBiase, I compared DiBiase's plummeting to like an asteroid hitting the Earth and then burrowing all the way to the core. I don't see that because he's just far too good on the microphone for that to ever happen. The hell was that?
What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
That I was holding my phone. That was my chime for an email.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was the notification that Brandon was right on the spot with something.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
It's basically like the Hall of Fame notification. Wrap it up. You got 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Wow, that totally threw me off my game.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, like I said, he's far too talented for them to ignore eventually. Money in the Bank may be a possibility. I certainly see him being in the match, but I don't know
if him winning necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, if they win, I could see them using as much time as possible to before he
establish him.
To establish him as a heel or face, because I think he could work as a face if possible. I mean, certainly if you're going to break apart that tag team of Rhodes Scholars, he's the one that's probably going to be more likely to go face.
Right, he has to.
I think the Sandow thing could work as a face. I mean, he can still do the same thing. He just can't run down the crowd as much.
They would do the same thing that they did with The Miz, where he would come out and he would just say bullshit to the faces of it. Or to the heels, I mean.
He would have no personality.
I don't think he would translate very well. With that character as a face, it's way more better suited to be a heel. But if they want to do a feud between those two and it actually elevates both of them and helps both their careers, I'm all for it. But if it's one of those stupid things where it elevates like Rhodes only or Sandow only, or it doesn't elevate anybody, then it's kind of useless in like the
You're the Jannetty. No, you're the Jannetty.
Yeah. There doesn't need to be a Jannetty. You can both be fucking successful. Fuck.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's in a sense, Cody Rhodes, the future's bright for this young man. Anybody that thinks otherwise needs to really, really put their thinking cap on. The WWE's sore need of more and more stars. Guys that are going to be household names. And mark my words, Cody's going to be as big, probably even bigger than his father.
Well, he can't be bigger than him.
Not in that way.
Dusty Rhodes is a pretty big guy.
So, you think, Orton had a way better time, becoming a bigger name than his dad ever was. But you think, sort of maybe similar, so to speak, in terms of success?
Yeah, definitely. As a babyface, Orton. The thing about Orton, no matter what people say, that he's not a main eventer. He's a upper mid carder, and he always will be an upper mid carder.
They've had numerous times to put Orton over, and seemingly they've
I
just
would arguably say he was
a
main eventer in 2009. I know that's like 4 years ago, but he's definitely bigger than upper mid card then. He's fallen a lot since then.
His main event push ended when he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that the one when he dislocated his shoulder?
That was the year before.
No, I honestly, I've always subscribed to this theory. I think they made a big mistake by having him lose to Triple H that WrestleMania. I think when he lost, it pretty much killed all of his momentum. He really hasn't been the same since.
Yeah.
So Brandon, you're going belt?
I'm belting him, yeah. You can't bury Cody, baby. Nah, baby. That's not for him. That's not for him.
So that moves us on to Miguel. What do you think, belt or bury?
I don't say bury, obviously. He's way too talented. At this point, though, I don't want to say belt either, because me and Chris were actually talking about this before. Those lower card belts, and even the world heavyweight title to an extent, have really meant nothing as of late. I mean, you've got guys basically losing them left and right. You've got champions losing matches for really no apparent reason. They're not building towards any real feuds. It's just, Wade Barrett goes out there with the belt and gets pinned for no apparent reason. Antonio Cesaro was on a losing streak when he had the title for a while. It just seems like even if they put the belt on Cody, it'll actually do more damage for him, because they're just going to do the same thing to him. He's just going to have the belt. It's not going to matter to his career whether or not he has the belt right now or not. I think
they do the surprise factor thing where, like, oh, the champion lost a match. What a big surprise. And it's like, he lost 2 weeks ago. It's not a surprise anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, please. Let's talk about the world heavyweight title being hot-shotted. Well, let's not all lie that we wished it was hot-shotted from Sheamus last year. I mean, that was one title reign that certainly did not last very short, and was horribly agonizing at the same time.
That's the thing, though. I love Sheamus. I think there's a huge upside to Sheamus.
That title reign was not so hot. though. Okay.
Yeah, but the issue with that, I believe, is due to bad booking and the constant feud they tried to force him in with Del Rio.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
You know,
the problem with Sheamus, and this is the problem with a lot of baby faces, and that's one of the reasons why the thought of turning Cody Rhodes babyface kind of worries me, is that when they turn somebody babyface, they don't give them anything to work with. They basically just they basically do the opposite. They strip them of all their personality, and they're just this kind of bland, faceless
No,
character.
they always go for the
Del
goofy shtick comedy. That's what they do all the time.
Not
But
even. I mean,
They
you
take
look
the
at the
piss out of whoever they're facing, and they just laugh and smugly smile it off, and then that's all they do ever.
I mean, you want to look at bad face changes. I mean, you got to look at Del Rio and The Miz. I mean, those really have been two of the worst face changes I've seen.
Actually,
in a
I would
long
argue
time.
to say
I
that Del
disagree.
Rio's face
I
turn
think
has actually been working.
as a face, honestly.
yeah, the Del Rio's face turn, I think, works better than he was. He's getting a far better push than he did when he was a heel on SmackDown.
There's no defending Miz's face
No,
turn.
not at all.
Let's be honest about Del Rio, though. Del Rio is only getting a reaction as a face because of Ricardo.
And that
He's only getting a reaction as a heel because of Ricardo too. I mean, it could go either way, but at least people are into his matches.
Well,
More so than as a face than he was as a heel.
I just thought he had more personality, and it felt more natural as a heel than as a face. As a face, it just to me doesn't make any sense, you know. It
doesn't make any sense because they didn't explain it, and he just stopped using his cars, and his character changed 100% just because he was a good guy.
It was a tragic event that
it
changed
kind of
his
works.
life. It's when he ran over Santa Foley.
Yeah, right. It really showed him that he needed to be a man of the people.
Yeah. Can I just say something? That was so embarrassing because I was over a relative's house for that, and I don't have cable, so I haven't been able to watch Raw live. So I'm over a relative's house. They have TV, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put Monday Night Raw on, and I've got all my relatives sitting next to me. They don't watch wrestling, so they're like, all right, I've never watched this. I turned it on, and the first thing they see is Del Rio running over Santa Claus, and I'm just sitting there so awkward and just like they just look at me like, this is what you're a fan of? It's like, yeah.
I had the exact same thing. I was actually over at my my aunt and uncle's place when my dad was staying over there, and everybody was over, and of course it was on, and of course we watched the New Year's Eve episode, and the main storyline of the evening is Cena saving Santa Claus's honor by challenging Del Rio, who apparently had turned face like the week before that, but is all of a sudden a heel because he ran over Santa Claus, and I didn't even watch that one. I was
just like, as soon as that happened, I saw the vignettes they did for it, and Foley sitting there on life support and all that jazz, and I sat there, looked at it, and just thought to myself, okay, I understand why they did that. They're trying to please all the kids for Christmas. Just notch this off as a Raw that you just don't want to watch. You know, it's sort of a throwaway Raw. They have a lot of these ones.
I felt less awkward watching like Attitude Era WWE with my parents. You know, just being a little kid watching like these like striptease matches. Like I felt less awkward watching those than I did watching, you know, them with Santa Claus.
Santa got ran over by Del Rio.
That was awful.
I felt less awkward watching Two Girls One Cup than watching that Raw.
We can all make fun of the Santa Del Rio thing, but if you think back, I think the moment that really solidified Del Rio as a face is when he had that TV Last Man Standing match with Big Show on SmackDown.
It was one of the best TV matches of the year until
that moment when
happened.
Championship, the crowd went ballistic, and that was I honestly feel like Del Rio is the only babyface that I can get into. Like, he's not completely stripped down to where it's like nowadays, like the only reason people cheer the heels so much is because they're the only ones who have any character. Yeah. And Del Rio seems to be the only babyface.
I liked him as a heel too, which I'm in the minority. I am an Alberto Del Rio fan.
Me too.
Yeah, I liked him as
when
face.
He was on. When I
liked him as a heel too. So the face change doesn't bother me, and I actually think it works. But as I said, the Miz's, you cannot defend that face change. It would have worked if they did it properly and they butchered the shit out of it.
I've always thought they should have gone the humble route with Miz instead of him coming out just as the same old Miz. They should have had one of the
not really the same old Miz though. Now is he?
He's a watered down version of the
they really
castrated.
What they should have done, what I would have done if I were booking is I would have had one of the big heels like a Brock Lesnar or a Big Show just completely demolish him. I mean, like give him a real like Steve Austin beating up Michael Cole level beating, that type of beating, and then build him up as like this humble heel, realizing his evil ways, and he starts gaining respect little by little, and you take the little baby face and put him up against the big guy, and that's how you build a fan following. Instead, they just had him come out as a watered down version of himself, and it just didn't work. But back to what I was saying before about the Cody Rhodes thing. Honestly, I think right now what he needs is an actual feud. And I mean an actual meaningful feud. Find somebody on the roster.
Absolutely.
Make a backstory. That, I think, will do better for him than any belt. Because right now the belts don't really matter anything. As far as something they could give him, I could see him maybe winning Money in the Bank next year. But honestly, I wouldn't feel bad if Cody Rhodes did win Money in the Bank and then lost. In all honesty, I think Cody Rhodes is talented enough where he can get over a loss with Money in the Bank, and I think he could put on a good show and a good build up until that point.
I doubt we'll see anybody lose the Money in the Bank now. I think they did it with Cena to sort of have the point of doing it because they knew that Cena didn't need the MRTB case. But in terms of
the guarantee thing, way too much. They talk about it all the time. Like,
yeah,
they'll never have somebody who is a new using it to become a champion lose it. No way.
Yeah, totally. And in terms of Cody, there's a huge upside to the guy. There's no way in hell that Cody Rhodes is ever gonna drop down the card that drastically to the levels of Zack Ryder, so to speak. So he's got something, and hopefully the WWE will utilize him appropriately to the point where he does go for another title run, because I think he sorely needs one. But he needs to be on his own to do it. I don't think he needs a tag title run. His pain.
Give him the internet title. Have him win the internet title from Zack Ryder. No, I'm serious. Have that be a feud. Cody Rhodes beats Zack Ryder, takes his internet belt. I mean, Zack Ryder's already an established babyface. That could be something for him to do. I don't know if it's beneath him, but it would be something that would make him relevant.
Definitely like it's beneath him, even where he is right now. Any feud with Zack Ryder is beneath him.
Poor Zack Ryder.
Well, I don't feel sorry for him at the moment, since he's just torn his own gimmick apart and decided to come out and be generic.
I don't think.
He wasn't told to do that.
I don't think you can make Zack Ryder less relevant if you put him in a tag team with Ted DiBiase. Just had both of them come out with their gimmick belts.
I come from money, but not anymore.
My dad cut me off, and now I'm sad.
I think that could actually be a good gimmick for Ted DiBiase. Like, he loses his trust fund inheritance.
That wide open, and now I'm poor, and now I'm sad. My dad cut me off, and now
he comes out, will wrestle for food, like grows the full homeless guy beard and everything.
No. You give Ted DiBiase a broski makeover. You have him be like the Rob Terry of the group.
No.
That could be the duo. DiBiase can pull out with the little sign that says "We'll wrestle for food," and Zack Ryder can come out and it'll be "We'll wrestle for a push."
Just get shaggy as hell.
Wrestle for hair gel.
Dirty, like just like decrepit tights and like boots that are falling apart. Yeah, just do the opposite of the $1 Million Man. Call him the $1 Man.
Hypo Ted.
They could really drive home the idea that when people lose the matches, they lose the money.
Yeah.
And he pull out a fucking middle of a fucking wrestling match.
He challenges Hornswoggle to a match.
Fucking lay it out and let me get the pin or I'm gonna stab you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 4 of the show, the Russo Roundtable.
Oh god!
His
You
new
can
gimmick
hope
is
they
Samoa
start
Joe.
charging him for losing matches.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get to that point where he starts owing Vince money.
So would you go technically with belt or would you go with Barry more so?
If I had the choice, I'd go with belt. I don't think the guy should be buried. I do think he's better than the belts at this point, just because the belts really don't mean anything. But if I had to have a choice, belt.
So we're all going belt here, and I want to know what you guys think, all the commenters. Tell us especially if you are going for a Barry. I'd really like to hear a Barry in there. Other than just Cody Rhodes sucks, Barry the fucking bastard, like something like that. But let us know what you guys think about that, and that'll bring us to the plugs. First off, of course, is the Sign Me Up initiative. If you bring a Smark Out Moment sign to any kind of a wrestling event and take a picture or video of it and send it to me, I'll put it up on Smack Talk and on Smark Out Moment itself. Make sure you guys check out outonlimbs.com. I haven't had a post up in a while. I'm not sure when I'm going to get one up. And really make sure you check out Fanboys Anonymous. One of the new contributors, Drew, is going to be posting somewhat soon, I'm hoping. And, we're going to try to get maybe some interviews for Iron Man. We're going to try to do a lot more with fanboys. So if you're a fan of geek culture and comic books and movies and everything like that, you'll love it because it's the exact same stuff that you see here. So that'll do me in for my plugs. Let's go with Braden.
Okay, you can subscribe to me at my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/SpoodBeast. Follow me on Twitter, which is also at SpoodBeast itself, because you got to use your same account for everything.
Damn.
As Tony said, please visit www.fanboysanonymous.com for everything in geek culture that me, Tony, and a multitude of other people who contribute to the show also kind of do content for, other than doing Smack Talk, as well as, most importantly, continue going to the Smark Out Moment website and tuning into every episode posted here on YouTube. Tell the people that that are also wrestling fans so they can find out and subscribe to this channel, because we all love contributing for all of you.
All right, and I'm going to go back and forth here. Instead of going with Burhan, I'm going to go with Miguel. Do you have any projects that you want to plug or anything?
Nah, not at the moment.
All right, we're going to go in the center here with Jester.
Just follow my Twitter at thatjesterkid, ThatJesterkid. I don't have
Mostly
anything
talks about goats.
I do. I tweet a lot about goats. That's a lie. I've never tweeted about a goat in my life.
You will now.
If Burhan counts as a goat, I tweet about Burhan all the time.
He does.
What about Daniel Bryan? Does that count?
Yes.
Ooh, goat face. It's close enough. Okay. I'm gonna
Yes.
tweet a lot about goats now, just because he said that. So follow me for that reason if you like goats.
The next time that something Pokemon related happens, you'll probably be able to check that out on Fanboys from Chris. Let's go with Brandon.
All right, I want to plug 3 things really quick. If you love
Is
wrestling,
Rosa one of them?
I would love to plug Rosa, but that's a whole nother issue. If you love wrestling podcasts such as this, myself and someone who's normally on this show, Michael Payton, we do our Keeping Kayfabe live on blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite every Thursday at 9 p.m., where wrestling is still real to us. Damn it!
Damn it!
I've never. No, that's my part. I'm gonna do the whole thing. Yeah. So you check that out, blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite, keepingkayfabe.com. I also host on Dream Elite Radio my own sports talk radio show where I talk sports with 4 to 5 of my best friends, whoever the hell I can cobble together an hour before a show starts.
And that one guy.
And that one guy. Well, no, he doesn't call into my show, thank God.
It's only Keeping Kayfabe?
It's only that one show that he calls into. If he called up and singing songs to me, I would just immediately hang up on him. Yes, that's Sportaholics Anonymous, not to be confused with Fanboys Anonymous. That's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. where I talk sports for 2 hours on Dream Elite Radio, blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to put over independent wrestling. If you like this show, go out and you could find this. There's independent wrestling happening everywhere around you. Yes, you. I'm pointing at you right now.
That's right, Chad.
Yeah, you there, guy. Yeah, support independent wrestling, because again, this is where it starts and this is where it ends. So yeah, support independent wrestling, especially such great companies that I work for, such as American Championship Entertainment at aceprowrestling.com, so the Suffolk Wrestling Alliance on Facebook at Suffolk Wrestling Alliance, and ECPW, which I don't even know if they have a website, but yeah. Support independent wrestling. I guess that's the overall arching theme of my plugs.
Should I end this off, or should I give Burhan plugs?
Oh, you.
Go ahead, Burhan.
Okay, www.nerdgenius.com. I've started posting again, mostly articles on Wrestle Ramblings, where I just basically talk about what's going on in terms of wrestling in the week and what I feel has any relevance And you can check out also the Facebook page, facebook.com/nerdgenius, and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/the nerdgenius. Also, check out the podcast which I host every week on gaming. Sometimes we have Tony Mango on there. We have my two full-time co-hosts now, Brandon Legan, Mike Payden, and Sean Mitchell, who's probably one of the other hosts who've managed to sort of survive the full 20 episodes with us. We're on currently episode 22, so you can check that out on fanboysanonymous.com and also on Stitcher, Zune, BlackBerry Podcasts, and wherever else podcasts are held.
Real player.
An Angel Fire.
Yeah, an Angel Fire. This week we discuss Assassin's Creed, so we go in depth, go back to basics, talking about the Assassin's Creed series and Brandon's love for Michael Fassbender.
Hey, it wasn't just my love. Sean brought it up. I was just confirming that fact that I agree with him. That Michael Fassbender's
you said you'd allow him to go balls deep in you. That's all you did.
If I was drunk enough, sure.
It's all right. There are certain actors that it's okay to say stuff like that,
I could say that. I'm secure in my sexuality to admit when another man is attractive. That doesn't make me gay. That just makes me more secure than any of you fuckers.
It's all right to have a bro crush on a celebrity. It's all right.
Michael Fassbender is an attractive dude. That's all I'm saying.
Apart from that, see loads of other little projects going on. I'll be posting a lot more for fanboysanonymous.com, nerdgenius.com, and anywhere else where Tony wants me to post, because he'll be correcting me most of the time.
I'm not looking forward to it.
So check that out and make sure that you just stay tuned for everything Michael Burhan, because I have my fingers in a lot of pies, so stay tuned for that.
Giggity.
One of them is Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
So that does us in for episode 77. Again, remember, you guys, if you're a fan of movie trilogies, the latest episode of the Fanboys Anonymous podcast is about movie trilogies.
Cool. I might actually have to listen to that.
Yes, you will. It's guaranteed.
Do it. Do it now.
And we will be doing a new podcast on Iron Man 3 and, keeping everything going along with that, keeping everything going on with Out on Limbs and Smark Out Moment and all that. So next week, I'm not sure what the specialty post is going to be, but send me your suggestions. If you have some kind of a topic you want us to cover on top of everything else that we normally do, hell, maybe I'll go with that. So this has been another Smark Out moment, everybody, and we're being counted out. Adios.
5, 2,
Dan, dan, dan. Doom, 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 doom. It's an outro. It's an outro. It's another fucking outro. It's an outro. It's an outro. It's another boring outro. Kinda like Ted DiBiase's career. It's going down the toilet slowly. Are you getting bored? It's an outro all about Orton, 'cause he didn't even matter. It's an outro, a fucking outro. Now it's time to end the show. Outro.